Hello. Hi. How are you guys? I was almost late today. Not my favorite, but oh well. I made it. Oh, but I dropped my yarn though. Hang on. Got it. Hello. Hi, Teresa, Laura, Elizabeth, and I'm just going to sew. How are you guys? Whew. We've got Blanky today. It got cold here finally. Okay, hello. Hi. I was like so close to being late today. I was all set up and then I came down and my camera had turned off and whatever. I made it. Oh, Elizabeth said cold and raining. It has been off and on raining here. Oh, Laura said, excellent, finished the knitting on a sweater. That's fun, carding up bats. Hi, Jennifer. I am great. I hope you're great. Hi, Linda and Tracy. Look at this. Hi, Stephanie and Bev. My goodness. Oh, Teresa, where are you? Hello, hello. What did everybody bring to work on? Did you bring stuff to work on, or do you just hang out? I still have my nylon locks right here. I don't know what to do with them. Okay. Hello, Mary and Garden Always. Look at this. Hi, Lori. What thumbs? What are we forgetting the thumbs? Hello, Caitlin and Billy. Look at you guys. Carrie's working on a sweater spin. Thank you. I got it on Amazon. Amazon really knows me. I look at t-shirts one time and then it's like, oh, okay, you want a t-shirt? And then it shows me every t-shirt they have. Oh, that's a good idea. Linda's winding yarn in. Oh, thanks, Garden Always. Linda's winding yarn into balls. Chris is scouring a fin. Luther just put his face on my yarn. Hello, Ilea. How are you? Hi, Crystal. Cindy's working on shawlography. Is that the Stephen West one? I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. It's interesting because I've seen some that I like and some that I'm like, no. Hey, thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Chris said John's sweater looks so good on Instagram. You know what? I'm still not sure about the fit around kind of like the back of the neck. I've knit that sweater 3 times before and I've never had that happen, so I'm just trying to figure out. It just doesn't seem to be like laying right. I don't know how to explain it, but oh, Chris, you lucky. Hello, Katie. Aaliyah's working on knitting. Handspun. All right, I love it. Oh, Dawn, I'm so... Oh, good. I'm glad. I forgot. Carrie said, I never love his new stuff, love his early work. What did I miss? I missed something. Yeah. Hello, Mandy. And yeah, Jennifer was saying, if you wouldn't mind pressing the thumbs up. Sorry. I hate asking you guys to do stuff. It's so funny. That's what he said, Chris. Chris said, oh yeah, John on Instagram in his Captain Morgan pose. There was nothing under his leg, by the way. He just like lifts it up. West knits. What did I say? Oh, right. Got it. Yes. I just put that all together, but I got it. it seems to matter. This one to me, this is just, doesn't really mean anything. But to me, it seems to make a big difference what colors people are putting together. Oh, good. That is also knitting hand spun. I love it. Oh, it's fine. Don't apologize, please. I appreciate it. Hello, it's Rebecca, right? Okay, so, Bonnie's knitting a baby costume. I don't know what Charmander is. Charmander? I don't know. Well, I'm reading while I'm talking. Sometimes I lose my thread. What can I say? Hey, Teresa? Oh, you do. Cindy said you need to close chat to do thumbs up, but you can reopen really easily. I didn't even know that. I knew he was like a cartoon character. You know what I mean? I knew that, but... Oh, all right. Michelle's also knitting hand spun. We were having a talk at the yarn shop that I go to this week about a couple... That's what I thought. I was just making sure it was Rebecca. About a couple people who spin and then never use their hand spun. And it makes me almost like sad in a way. Because it's like, how much... it's good for something, even if you didn't really like how it came out or it wasn't what you thought. Mary said still only sweater socks and now sewing a few small holes on outdoor equipment. Got it. Goodness. That's a lot, Mary. Danielle's working on bobbin 2 of a pound of Shetland. Oof. That's good progress, though. Bobbin 2. Lori asked what's on the needles today. I have... Some of you, if you follow on Instagram, you've probably seen this. But, it's the Heim sweater. That hand spun from that Gotland that we got in a Paradise box a while back. I don't know... I can't always tell exactly how it looks to you guys because what I see is a little different, but Elsa, tell me how to pronounce it. Says, do you have any basic crochet tutorials on your YouTube channel? I don't crochet a ton. I can do it. Thank you, you guys. Thanks. I learned when I was 8, and then when I was about 20 and I was getting married the first time, I was getting married in the winter, and I crocheted like 200 snowflakes, 150, 200, somewhere in there, I don't remember now, that I put over the dance floor, and people got to take them home for a favor, and that's how I learned how to like follow patterns, because I could crochet before, but I couldn't really follow a pattern. But I still don't do it a ton, so I don't make any tutorials. I'm sorry. Mary said, keep him busy. It's been a quiet week. Feels like yesterday was Monday. I know. This week has been very weird for me. Oh, Garden Always said Fiber Spider has some great crochet tutorials. So there you go. See, I knew somebody would know some good ones. Hello, Melanie. How's Ohio today? We're only a couple weeks out from our family Thanksgiving. I just realized, I gotta start planning. Has it, Teresa? Oh, goodness. Thanks, Tracy. Tracy said, love the sweater. So happy to be here. Hi, everyone. I love it. Hi, Desiree. Yeah, here too, Melanie. It wasn't really a bad week, but it's been weird. I think maybe just... everything that's going on in the world is kind of getting us down a little bit. But, normally we don't let it get to us, I feel, but... Oh, Desiree. She said ordered my sock yarn yesterday. Did you... I don't know who that is. What? Oh, wait. Did you order a kit? A sock extravaganza kit? Is it because, you guys, the Dorset horn, holy cow. Hello, Mindy. Margaret said it's cold in Nottingham now, so I'm sitting in front of a log fire knitting the West Knits. You guys, I wish you would all put your West Knits pictures up. Yep, practice. Knitting just takes practice. I mean, I've been able to follow a knitting pattern for way longer than that, but, you know, I knitted just like off and on. I'm so glad. Desiree said your first video was great and informative. I'm so glad. I am trying, but you know, there's a lot of things. It's interesting because, like, there's a lot of things people have said, like, why don't you test this? Why don't you test that? But it's kind of hard to test for everyone things that are individual, if that makes sense. Like, testing for durability on a sock for me is going to be different because I might spin it differently and then wear it differently. So I don't, and that would take so long to wear it out. So I don't know how to do that. If that makes sense. Oh, Elsa. Okay, Elsa. I'll remember. I do pretty well, but sometimes you have to tell me twice. But I think I can get that one. First I thought it was Alyssa, and then I realized I was transposing. Oh, Margie. Awesome. Crystal said, troll feet are murder on hand-knit socks. Who has troll feet that you know? Desiree asked, what ratios did you use for the single and then for the ply? I did not check it. I have so many ratios because I have a bunch of different bobbins and whirls on my, my match list that I've never, I know it sounds crazy, but I've never memorized them. So I don't actually exactly know, but I had it going really fast. I had it as fast as mine will go, both bobbin and whirl, if that helps. Crystal answered and said, my troll has troll feet. Is that your husband or one of your kids? Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh. Maribel, I'm so jealous. Hi, Julie. I would imagine that troll feet are quite challenging. Okay. Garden Always asks, what is the easiest sock heel with a good fit to do if you're a beginner knitter? So it kind of depends on your foot a little bit, but I like a heel flap to be for a beginner. That's for me. It's her significant other. Okay. Oh, that's a good word. So we were just talking the other day. It feels like we need new words for, like, partners and cultural stuff, and I don't know. It just feels like we need some new words. Significant other is such a good one. Hi, Brenda. Oh, goodness. Doing dishes. Are you in Australia or New Zealand or somewhere there? Hello, Eileen. London in the house. Oh, I did appreciate that. Elizabeth, if you're not in the Facebook group, it's totally fine. But if you're not, she posted something about scrolling through social media being like, what's the word? I mean, your meme called it hope questing. So it's not mindless scrolling. We're all looking for those, like, bright spots and good news and funny things and all that kind of stuff. And it's true. I am anyways. I've blocked all the people with their nonsense. Not blocked. I just unfollow, but you know what I mean. Oh, Teresa said, I like German short rows as a heel on a sock. Learn it once and do it on the toes, and then you can do that. I just think if you do a short row heel, like, as you guys know, John has a higher instep, so if I do a short row heel for him, I have to do a few extra plain rows in it to make it deeper. And so I think the heel flap is nice because you can adjust how deep your, oh, I don't know. Is the volume very soft? Ooh, I don't think I can make it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dear. All right, I'm going to mute it for just a second. Okay, is that better? But I see you guys said it was okay. So yes and no. Oh, Chris. What? What's oh no? I definitely missed something. Okay, good. Good. I'm sorry, you guys. I definitely missed something. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that my external mic was what was hooked up, and so I just took it out and set it next to me. Oh boy. Okay, what'd I miss? Something. Mary said, I have a super high instep and usually work increases before my heel. Actually, I believe that. That makes a lot of sense. It would be the same with John's, like I would need to do that too. But when I start, if I do like, an afterthought heel too, if I do that, I do several rows before I start to decrease and then several rows in between the decreases on his because it just makes it like longer and gives I don't know, you know what I'm saying. So what did everybody do last weekend? I missed it. I didn't think it was a good idea to reschedule because then some people would miss that and be like, ugh, why didn't you let us know and all that? Oh, thank you. Thanks, Chris. I did miss it. You're right. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, that's sad. Well, Teresa, I wasn't here last weekend because I was supposed to be on my way back from Rhinebeck and I had canceled and I thought it didn't make sense to like put it back on the calendar because then there's always some people who won't know. Katie said I have a high instep and have found the umbrella sock heel works well. I'm going to look for that. Tracy said this is a dumb question, but when you knit both socks at the same time, do you work from both ends of a center pull ball? I don't think that's a dumb question, and I have done that. I think if you're doing toe up, it's an awesome way to use every little bit of the yarn. Because if you're working them both, you're going. Does that make sense? Oh, gosh. Thanks, Script Goddess. That's so nice. Netflix. What are the bad Netflix reality shows? Oh, Julie. There is one in the video of why I miss Rhinebeck. And otherwise, I can just send it to you if you want. But now that I'm feeling better about the class format, which is pretty awesome, I'm going to be doing some available like for Facebook and that kind of thing because you can put them right on Facebook now. Eileen said I have high instep too. For me, the heel flap and under heel gusset fits the best. Interesting. Okay, Sherry said last week I went to a small fiber festival here in Minnesota, bought lots. Oh, tried spinning cotton for the first time. I did that a few weeks ago, Sherry. How was it for you? I don't know yet. Okay, I'm just going to asked about Great Northern. I called and where we are right now is that they need me to send them the color list, which I'm going to do today. And then we'll go from there. But they're going to let me know. Their situation is really an inventory issue. Like they're just not sure if they can get what they need to have on hand. Hey, Mel, because right now they're just having a hard time getting stuff like everybody. Me too, Kim. It's just like Kim said, Trish, I'm sad you missed Rhinebeck, but I understand why and excited for your opportunity. It was not an easy decision, and I did feel a little sorry for myself, but it's okay. Christy said, hey Trish, last February 2020, your Paradise box resulted in a gorgeous scarf and you were thinking about possibly selling it, did you? Sweetheart Yarn Line. You're talking about the Zorzal. I did not sell it. I never wore it again. I put it in a box and it's in my closet. If you want to buy it, PM me, make me an offer, because I've never worn it again. It's like brand new. Kimberly said, I really want to get better at toe-up socks. For that reason, my go-to is top-down German twisted cast-on heel flap magic loop 2 at a time. Whoa! So I answered somebody about the last video that asked about the cast-on, and I told them it was Norwegian twisted, and afterwards I was like, no, it's German twisted. Mel, I knew you were gonna have enough yarn. Crystal said, when I knit toe-up socks, I like figure 8 cast on. I like that also. Sometimes I do Turkish. It doesn't, it's almost the same. Oh, Eileen is knitting your first hand-spun socks, really? Do you love them? There's something about your own hand-spun. And Dawn said, I'm going to my first in-person fiber festival on the 6th of November. It's fiber in the borough in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I can't wait. That's so exciting. Your first ever? Oh, I know. I mean, it is a beautiful shawl. It's one, I'm really proud of that shawl. But I make so much stuff. If I could sell it, or if it, if I can gift it, whatever. Oh, garden always. You think it says twisted cast on. There are too many techniques in knitting socks. It is so confusing. So twisted cast on is just a really, really stretchy one. So you don't have to know that. I can do that, Chris. I can show it. Hello, Debbie. How are you? 9 yards. Really? Okay. That's how I got confused. Bonnie said Old Norwegian and German twisted cast-ons are the same. I did know that it had 2 names, and I combined them just for expediency's sake. Oh, Dawn, that's exciting. Oh my goodness, Eileen, are you in the Facebook group? Please post us a picture. I would love to see them. Kim said, I wore my first ever pair of knitted socks to Rhinebeck. That's so fun. The one kept sinking down under my heel. Is that because it was a shorty? Probably. I think it's the way I do this too. I think it's the way I walk. My shoe, like I pull my foot out of the shoe a little, and then it just pulls the sock down as it goes back in, or I guess the other way around, over and over. Do you know what I'm saying? It is, yes. Look at you guys. Oh my gosh, Jennifer, I hope you get to go sometime. L. Watson said, I don't know if anyone's ever said this before, but I want you to know how much I appreciate that you read a comment out loud before you respond. I usually listen to the lives while working. I try to, but sometimes I forget. Or sometimes it gets going fast, and that really makes me forget. But it's still fun when it's fast. I miss stuff too when it gets fast. Kimberly said, that's why I don't do toe up. Haven't found a stretchy bind off that is as good as the German twisted cast on. Kimberly, have you tried, I think it's called Jenny's someone's super stretchy bind off. What's the name? One of you guys will know. Jenny? I can't remember. Surprisingly stretchy bind off, something like that. It is awesome. Mary said either because it was a shorty or the heel fit foot length was too short. Oh yeah, I guess that could be too. Yeah. When knitting socks, is it okay to do a rib stitch all the way to the heel? Yeah, you can do rib wherever you want, but it's going to make it a little like thicker in your shoes, if that makes sense. Mel, oh no, Mel asked Trish, are you working on your blue sweater? Mel, you missed it. It's the Heim. Jenny's incredibly stretchy bind off, Teresa said. I think that one is really good. For socks, especially. I'm sure there's a bunch. Okay, Elizabeth said, Hi, I've tuned in several times, but usually on my TV, so I think you're saying you don't. Yeah, don't participate in chat. I'm also doing the sock extravaganza. Yay, Elizabeth. How has it been going? Have you started yet? Oh, Elizabeth said, I'm hoping Rhinebeck next year will be my first festival. Maybe next year I won't feel weird about doing a meetup. I just feel really funny. I don't know how to say it. I feel really funny pretending like I'm a person who would have a meetup. That's, I don't know how else to say it. Carrie said, I just used Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off on a pair. It's great. It's great, right? On socks, a stretchy bind off is so important. Or cast on if you're going top down. That's why I like the German twisted for that. Elizabeth said, I started the Dorset horn and I'm loving spinning it. I'm about halfway through. I'm a spindle spinner. Teresa said, Trisha, are you... That's so... Don't even say that. I have to read it now, too. Trisha, are you getting used to being popular? That's... No. Chris said, Trish, did you count the yards for the Dorset horn? I had 220 yards. I think I did say that at one point, but maybe I'm crazy. Hi, Simone. How are you? It just seems so... I don't know. It's so hard to wrap my brain around. Mel said, I've been watching the lives after the fact and end up talking to you all out loud to myself. I love that. That's something I would do. Jennifer said, this is a very good tip. Try the bind off with one right size needle and one larger one. That should work. Yes, that helps too. Carrie said, you are the person that we want to meet as well as this tribe. A crafting circle would be fun. Yes, it would be fun to like do a whole, I don't know, little evening. Whatever. Oh, it's okay. Mary, you know what? It's going to be there for a long time. Oh, Cindy. I don't know why I feel this way about it. I just feel so funny about it. Feels like I'm pretending to be a person. Kim said a lot of podcasters say they are a little overwhelmed, but it's worth it. Oh, sorry. Bye, Kimberly. I know. I'm just going to sew said, never feel off about meeting up with your tribe. None of my close friends are crafters. It would be so nice to talk with others in person. I do not feel weird about meeting you guys. Just so that you that makes, I mean, I don't want you to think that. I feel weird about scheduling something. I don't know. I think some of you guys are following. Hi, Jerry. How are you? I'm getting embarrassed now. Elizabeth said it's imposter syndrome. I have been trying so hard to work on that. So maybe, I don't know. Then I heard Brene Brown say that there's no such thing basically. So I really don't know. But whatever it is, I've been really, really trying to work on it. So, silly. You guys are so funny. If only, Brenda, if only we're so easy as to just tell yourself, like, I'm not an imposter. It doesn't work like that. It goes back, all the research I've been doing trying to like work on it tells you that it goes back to being a kid. Jerry said, you knit a lot of sweaters. Did you ever have trouble finding the correct size? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but not generally no, but only because I'm not afraid to try to modify something like to fit. With John's, I always have to make them longer because he's so tall. I've actually modified size on a lot of them. So Nikki said, "Did you use handspun for your sweater in the last video? Was that the dark navy sweater with the gray?" Um, Hello, Lil Fair. Elizabeth said, "I think before social media, it was just called low self-esteem. I always feel like people have no reason to like me, so I get it." No, it's not. Don't say that, Julie. So crazy. My mom is a therapist, and she told me that I had it when I was pretty young. And I never really thought much about it again. And then later on, I was reading more stuff about it, and I was like, wait, I didn't know that was part of it. That's me, that's me, that's me. And I'm like, dang. Okay, so Eileen said, "Jerry, just measure your favorite sweater, use your swatch and gauge, and adapt the pattern you choose so it fits you." Okay, along those lines, that's probably why I'm not afraid to modify them, because there's a really good book called Knitting Without Tears by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and I read it very early on when I was knitting sweaters. And she talks about like basically using a formula, kind of like Eileen is saying, and your gauge, and how to just like make a sweater that fits you. And she does suggest exactly what Eileen is saying, to use something a sweater or a garment that you like, and measure it exactly like she's saying. So that's probably a big part of why I'm not, I've always been okay with it. Nikki said, "Yes, I think it was navy and gray." That was Woolstock yarn. I did not spin that. It is a great book. That's it too. Crystal said percentage sweater. And I still use that method sometimes. Yes. Julie said Zimmerman was a genius. I feel like she is the one who made me feel like there's really nothing ever to be afraid of, because it's just string. It's literally just string and sticks. Garden always said, "Sounds like a book I need to read. Might keep me from throwing my knitting across the room." I hope so. Hi, Paige. You don't see it. Mindy said, "Knitting Without Tears is an awesome book." I feel like you don't see it around as much. I don't know yet. Melanie said, "So what pattern are you using for the blue?" I haven't even looked yet because I'm still working on this one. There's so much stuff I want to knit right now. It's crazy. And I've been spinning a lot. I finished that singles of that whole fin fleece. It was small, but still. And I even plied some of it last night. So Julie's doing West Knits mystery knit along. How is yours going? That's it. Cindy said, "I love her instructions. Knit stockinette until you're sick of it." So true. Oh my gosh, Mandy said, "I found it at a used book sale just yesterday for $2. That's crazy." Oh, good. Okay, so it's on Amazon. It used to be probably like maybe 15 years ago. It was just everywhere. I don't know. Maybe I just thought it was everywhere. I don't know. It's like a Steven sampler. I love it. Mary said, "I feel like I should read some of Elizabeth Zimmerman. These. I just applied with logical reasoning." Yes. I mean, I feel like she does make it very logical, if that makes sense. Mel said, "I really need to figure out chain plying, but I'm worried I'll overply the crap out of it." If you're worried about that, slow your wheel down as much as you can, and then like count your treadles once you get going. And also like as you're chain plying, stop completely and like let all the tension off so that you can see what it's really going to look like up closer to the wheel. I don't know if that makes sense, but once you've got your twist in, let all the tension off and just let it hang, and you can see better how it's going. But then start counting your treadles, and it'll help you ply the same through the whole thing. She said, paperback $13.29. Excuse me while I order a copy. Crystal said, hi, just figured out how to control my ply on a drop spindle. That's exciting. I've done so little drop spindling. I helped teach a class once and I could barely do it. Oh, Cindy said, I'm just starting the last part of Clue 1, cord loops. I think I saw them. I will be knitting I-cord way past when I get sick of it. I have a love-hate relationship with I-cord. Aw. Maybe it'll go really fast. Tracy, this is a good tip, said, I practiced chain ply with leftover craft yarn that I didn't care about. I think that is always a good thing. Like practicing almost any kind of, like practicing getting your wheel spinning with when you're just learning with commercial yarn is a really good idea. Practicing 2-ply is a really good idea with commercial yarn. I feel like commercial yarn is just, especially like cheap crappy stuff, you don't care if you over twist. Some cheap stuff is good. I'm not putting down cheap yarn. I love cheap yarn. Okay. Danielle, that's a good question. Question for the crowd. What comes first for you, the yarn or the pattern? Do you find a pattern to fit your yarn or the yarn to fit your pattern? Hello, Kelly. How are you? I can answer for me that I do both. Sometimes I find a pattern and I'm like, oh, I have to knit this. And sometimes I have yarn already and I go and looking for a pattern. Candy said, I have a love-hate with that I-cord too. I didn't do all the loops. I shortened some sections too from 10 to 8 rows, things like that, but I'm using acrylic to practice the first one. Kelly said, usually yarn. Then I have to find a pattern. See, aren't we interesting that way? Simone said, I love spinning on a drop spindle. I have it in the kitchen and spin every day when supper is cooking. That's smart. Okay, Sue said, a cool way to chain ply without the worry of overplying is to make a plying ball beforehand. You can chain the singles. Oh, interesting. I have never seen anyone do that. I would be so interested to see it. She said you can chain the singles as you wind them into a ball. Then at the wheel, you just add the twists. Eileen also does both. Hello, Jamie. Julie said, Cindy, the offset of the loops make them look like cocoons, which helps a little. I do both. Bonnie both. Candy both. Simone, you are my kind of gal. Rowena both for me. Like, especially for me with hand spun, a lot of times, I spin just to spin because I think it's going to make pretty yarn. And then I come out with the yarn and I'm like, okay, now I have to go look for a pattern for this. But a lot of times, if I start with the pattern, I will spin for it, and sometimes I'll go hunt up yarn, you know. Mary said both. Cheap yarn has its place. I love hand knit pullovers, but to wear a hand knit wool pullover for everyday yard and garage work and try to launder it is too stressful. I can see that. Hello, Jamie, and not in the car. Teresa does both. Jen, hi, how are you? Here for lunch break. All right. So you must be on the West Coast. I guess not. You could be eating lunch at 20 to 3. We are almost 12 hours from when I woke up this morning. Hey, Nat. How are you? I'm just going to sew. Asked, where do you find your raw fleeces for sale? I have used the Facebook groups a lot, and I think it's just raw wool #4 sale, but I'm in a couple of them. And that's where I find a lot of them. But then I have a few shepherds that I've been like working with for years that I might, send an email to or whatever in the spring. There's a couple Michigan shepherds that I've, worked with over and over and over again that I'll just send them a note and say, what you got? Fine, thanks, Nat. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. Is it happening? Nope, it went away. Candy said, I love spinning just to spin. I did see that underwing moth mitten pattern and wanted to spin for that. I haven't seen that. Yay, Mel. Why are you going to the paint store? What are we painting and refinishing today? Melanie said, I just found a mill less than an hour from me. I want a raw fleece too. Mary said, Dirty Fleece has had some really great deals lately. Dirty Fleece done dirt cheap. I have never bought one from there. So I'm going to have to look that up. Underwing moth mittens. Is that right? Sue said, I mostly spin just to spin, but sometimes I have a project in mind. I would say that that's pretty close to how I feel about it. Sometimes I just spin because I love it, and I'll find something. Crystal said, I know there is a wool shed near me. Now, what is a wool shed? Is that where they buy the like whole areas fleeces and then broker them basically? Oh, good. Jamie said, I bought a fleece because I thought I'd process it. It's not going to happen. Your video gave me the courage to contact a mill to see if they would process it. I have processed a lot over the years, and I just got behind, basically. And I thought, why not just catch up? Do this to catch up. And also support, this new mill in my area that's trying to get going. So it's kind of nice. Oh, Mel's painting the dining room. I need someone to come paint my bathrooms. Will you come over? Bye, Teresa. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. That's probably why mine went away. Candy said, did you mess with your Suffolk yet? I have not. Oh no. Okay. Garden always said, I have a friend who has sheep, but he won't sell me a fleece. He says they're no good for spinning because they're the wrong breed for wool. I never knew some sheep were raised for meat till then. If you can find out what the breed is, there are so many shepherds who think that they have a meat breed and so the wool is no good. Okay, so they think the wool is no good for spinning, but it's not always true. Crystal said it's where they buy the area's cleaned fleeces. Oh, cleaned and sell it by the bale. What? Hi, Bear. How are you? Beck said, I'm being given about 20 fleeces from someone whose father is a sheep farmer, completely raw and probably not skirted well in a few months in a shed. Any tip on doing a large amount? Their textile. You're lucky. Number one, that is amazing. Okay, Julie. Yes, let me let me get back to Julie. But um, my tip on a large amount is find some place to store it, and basically just go through one or two at a time. Don't tell myself that I need to lay these all out and skirt 20 of them at a time. Do you know what I mean? Just take them out, set a timer for half an hour, skirt as much as you can in half an hour, because you'll be shocked how much you can get done. Honestly. Um, but do get the skirting done as fast as you can, because that's going to cut down on like the size of the overall job and the mental size of the job quickly, because a lot of it's going to get tossed. I mean, it sucks, but a lot of it'll get tossed. But you're so lucky. And I do have margaritas. I always have margaritas. But I haven't picked out colors yet, so that's going to make it slow. Julie said, will the new mill handle CVM? I'm worried about neps, but tired of combing. They have done some CVM for me. Jamie, I have drank margaritas while we were doing this before, but not today. I have water. If what he told me is that he checks it when it starts to go into the picker and to see how it's doing. But I have some CVM. You know what? And you just, oh darn, did I mail that already? I mailed your kit already. I'm going to throw a sample of the CVM he did for me in and just mail it to you. It's going to, be an ounce or two, but you can see how it is. And it's from Fiddle Knoll Farms. I don't know. I don't remember if you got yours from there too. Nat said, I've got 2 Jacobs, but can't process it because it's too wet and cold in the UK. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Carrie's husband made warm cider with caramel vodka. That sounds like it could be trouble. For me, I mean, not you. I'm sure you're... I do. Julie said, do you do CVM on your Carter? I don't know what that part is. From Me Stuff. Okay. She said, yes, some Phil Knoll's in Michigan, and Julie is only like a little more than an hour from me, probably. So, let me send you a little sample of what I have. Mine is from Fiddle Knoll. Deborah said, I have a question. Oh, I have a question about socks made with nylon added. Isn't that the best way to add strength? I don't know about the best way. Yes. Jean said, can we ship fleeces to mills? Yes, you can ship them. They are used to that. You can also, okay, good. You can also add like mohair. Some people add silk to make it stronger. So there are other things you can do. What's the best? I don't know. Eileen said, sounds like trouble indeed, but now I want one of those too. Share the recipe. One of my favorites that I can't have right now because I'm eating low carb is like hot chocolate with a little bit of peppermint schnapps, but just a little because it's sweet. Bye. I'm just going to sew. Said, thank you everyone for the chat. I must leave now. Chat again soon. Darn, I missed something again. I hate that when I do that. You guys probably do too. But I mean, with the nylon also, nylon's kind of hard to blend in. Oh, Venus, you're not late. You're right where you're supposed to be. So, I mean, it kind of just, there's many ways to do it. Who says what's the right one? What's the right one for you is the right one. Oh, Tracy said, oh, I forgot to tell you, our Weaver and Spinning Guild had a woman come on and tell us about her tour of a velvet weaving factory in Venice. It was amazing. I bet. I think there's only a few or maybe even just one left that does like the traditional woven velvet. I asked Dan for the recipe. Apple cider, caramel vodka. So no measuring then. Jamie said, now I'm going to have to send my husband to the store. Oh. Well, I bet that was fun. Does she have pictures and stuff, Tracy? I would be interested to see that. I don't know how they do it. Do they weave it with like fuzzy? It's been around for 500 years and the looms are humongous. I bet. It is something we do here, Carrie, is it? Definitely. Eileen said, Deborah, that is why we are doing the sock extravaganza. For hundreds of years, people had socks without nylon, maybe use a stronger wool. It is fashion today to use the softest wool, which needs nylon. Right. And also, the softer wools usually have been made into a superwash wool, which at this point in time, unless there's something new that I don't know about, because I don't know everything, there's no way to make it superwash that's not, what's the word, kind of bad for the environment, really. And some of the superwash methods right now only work for a certain amount of washes and then they wash off and then you're back to where you were. I will look, Rebecca. Thank you. I have some wholesome yum recipes. Oh my gosh. Tracy said they use 2220 silk thread. Can you imagine? No. Because one of those numbers is like, how do they get that? One of those numbers is how many hanks in a pound, right? Or is it a kilo? Margaret said, I've still got a darning mushroom for when socks wear out. In general, people don't darn anymore. I have my great grandma's darning mushroom. Well, I mean, I call it a darning egg, but whatever. I have my great grandma's, but I don't think people really do it very much. Jean said, that's why I haven't made socks with my hand spun because I thought we had to have nylon. I love learning that you can use wool without nylon. You don't have to, I mean, I have a lot that doesn't have nylon. That's hand spun, just wool. Okay, Tanya said probably reeled, not spun silk. Because I'm like, how? That makes more sense. Thank you, Tanya. Oh, okay. Tracy said, no, it's number of threads and the other is wraps per inch. See, Nat said, what is a darning mushroom? It's a little tool, kind of, that you would put inside a sock to make it the right shape and also kind of like spread out the stitches. I'm not sure where mine is or I would go get it. So that you can create the little darned, I mean, it's kind of like a patch. Eileen said, yes, Jean, just choose your wool carefully so it doesn't felt by wearing them and having sweaty feet. Or washing. Hi, Lori, how are you? You're not late. You're right on time. You're right where you're supposed to be. And then the one that I have in my great grandma's, the darning mushroom, actually comes apart and holds like needle, string. There's a little cutter inside. It's really cute. Jody said actually enjoys darning. You know, I don't do it because I like knitting them so much that I just feel like, oh, well, it's okay. I'll make a new pair of socks. Bears, that's what I have. Jerry said my mother always darns socks. Times have changed. We just throw away and buy new. Julie said, if you hear an explosion, that is my ego popping as I screw up linen stitch repeatedly. It's okay. We've all popped our egos a few times knitting. Kim said, could you reuse the good yarn to make a new pair instead of darning? It would have a bunch of breaks in it, kind of, but you could. I mean, you always could. I think I'd rather darn. Mary said, I just watched a John Arbor video. He explained the counts as how many plies and something about how many kilos it takes to reach a certain length. I thought it was how many 800-yard hanks in a kilo or a pound or something. But you know what? Well, it could be different. I don't know. Elizabeth said, I really don't like linen stitch for some reason. I love how it looks. I love how it looks, but it grows so slow. Chris T said, the last pair of knitted socks I gave away was the ones tossed in the bin when they wore a hole in the heel, as opposed to asking me if I could darn it. They didn't even think of that possibility. Aww. Oh, okay. The factory is called Luigi Bevilacqua, and they have a website. I'm going to have to check that out. Carrie said, I popped my ego once by drinking wine and knitting lace. I'm fine. This is fine. The next morning I saw that it was not, in fact, fine. Oh, Venus darns all the time. Darn, darn, darn. Darn it. Yeah, one time John went on a hunting trip and I stayed up knitting hats with cables quite a few years ago. And I was having a couple green apple martinis, and in the morning I had to pull one of the hats completely out and start over. Elizabeth said, I agree, Trish. I love how it looks and it's nice and flat, but I always lose my place. Yeah. It's a tough one, but Sharon King said, I bought a darning egg at an antique store, but not to use, only display. I know it's awful to say, but I'm always like, yay, I can knit a new pair of socks. Because I do limit myself to the drawer space that I have. Julie said, oh, Jack, that's her husband, has a sweater where wine changed the gauge. Poofy bits. Well, maybe, Katie, maybe it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. She said the wine drinking and lace knitting is something I've done before. I still haven't fixed it. Tracy said, Trish, are you going to share a video on how to darn? Maybe someday. I don't know. Basically, when I do it, I just like create a little patch. So I kind of like go around the hole and to create something to hook the patch to, and then I like weave a little patch. It kind of depends though, because if there is still thread there or string, if there's still yarn there but it's like worn down really thin, I have actually taken a piece of yarn and mimicked the knits like over, what do you call that? When you go over the knit stitches. Yeah, Carrie said darning is more like weaving than knitting. Well, Kim, you just got to practice. I recommend practicing in the movies so that you have no option to look. Duplicate stitch. Thank you, Mel. Because John has given me socks before where he was like, he could tell that he was wearing the heels out, and I just duplicate stitch basically over the skinny, sad little threads left until I make a new sock, basically. Crystal said, to learn how to knit without looking, knit a garter stitch washcloth. While knitting the washcloth, see how long you can keep your eyes closed while you knit. That's pretty much how I learned. I would just see how long I could keep my eyes closed or knit in the dark Beck said, I'm in Ireland, and because of the demand for merino and softer wool, Irish wool is now worthless. That kills me. And it costs farmers to shear now as the cost of transport is more than they get for the wool. That, okay, that is the case in a lot of farmers. Okay, I don't know how to say this. Mel and I had a conversation about this. There is a disconnect here because people are starting to want to work with those wools more. And it's awful. And like I have an Irish heritage, so I think about my Irish like great grandmother, in sitting outside her little cottage spinning Irish wool. Probably somebody had to spin it, because where do you get your socks otherwise back then? And it just really bugs me. But that stuff is coming back. In America, there's like a disconnect between the market, the wool brokers, and the farmers. And that bugs me too, because I'd really like to use more American wool, and it's hard to get. Hello, Michelle. You're not late. You're exactly right where you're supposed to be. You're on time. Oh, bye, Nat. Thanks for coming. Time to go to bed, huh? Deborah said, I usually just rip out the toe or heel and reknit it when I get a hole in those areas. Yarn Harlot, was it Yarn Harlot? I think it was Yarn Harlot had a pattern where you put a second sole on your sock and then you could just take it off and put a new one on. Eileen said, Bex, I am with you. I buy local and farmers wool as much as possible. Jen said, I feel like I need to start using more Irish wool now. I mean, what do they do with it? What happens to it? Tracy said, we should form a collective, pay for the shearing, then ship to a mill and process in bulk. It's so sad to think of fiber being tossed. It is awful. And Sue said, that's why I like Shave 'em to Save 'em project so much. I've discovered lots of great breeds. Hurry back, Dawn. Get you some coffee. Jerry said, when I went to Ireland, I could not find fiber or someone spinning. Everything went to the weaving mills. If there was a fiber tribe, some of these shepherds would have an outlet for their wool. Mel said, so many conversations about this need to be had. The farmers don't realize the demand, and there aren't enough processors. Both of those are so true. And I have been, since she and I had this conversation, I kind of feel like the universe is like pointing me to try to do something about it, but it hasn't completely come together. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? What is the thing? So I've just been thinking about it a ton. Oh, Bex, that's terrible. Eileen said they dig it in for compost. I do that too, but that's where I put the stuff I skirt. Bye, Elizabeth. Thanks for coming while you could. Venus said, my friend that gives me fleece every once in a while, just give their fleeces to their shearers. Yeah. Well, so, I don't know, but some of you guys probably know this, but there's a couple of the bigger wool sellers who get wool that way. They buy it from the shearers and then get it processed and sell it online. Garden always said, can you ship raw fleece into the US? You definitely can. I have bought from other countries. Tracy said that's true for Vancouver Island too. There are so many hobby llama and alpaca farms, and no one processes or spins the fiber from their animals. I hope so, Eileen. It's so funny that it's been on my mind a lot, because I think part of it is that right now I'm trying to use more meat breeds in the Sockstravaganza, and I'm trying to find US sources just because I want to save on the shipping, and I want to save the environment. You know, shipping is hard on the whatever. So I'm like trying to find American of these breeds, and it's not as easy to do as you would think. Mal said, I'm seeing more US grown and processed stuff coming up. Knitter Ella just started North Bay. I don't know what that is, but maybe I'll have to look. Beck said there's no mills in Ireland, and the UK mills have a minimum weight, but most farmers are in their 50s to 80s mainly. Bex, you've convinced me. I'm going to move to Ireland and open a mill. It's crazy that there's no mills, because one of the biggest equipment makers that I see is Belfast Mini Mills, which I think are made in Canada. Am I right? I'm just going to have to move to Ireland and open a mill. Really? Eileen said, interesting though, as it is much harder in the UK to get Suffolk than in the US. That is very surprising. But Suffolk is very, very common on US meat sheep farms. Suffolk, Dorset, Hampshire, all very common. Bear said, I was surprised how many folks here that have fiber producing critters don't sell it, and seem surprised that I was asking about what they did with their fleece. Where are you, Bear? Are you also in the UK? Oh, Danielle, that's so nice. That's what I thought. Okay, Kelly, that's what I thought. I thought that the Belfast mini mill stuff came from Canada. Oh. Oh, Venus, yes, I will. I love polypay fleece, actually. You know, Garden always asked, is Suffolk itchy wool? I think a lot of it has to do with the way it's spun. So it could be, but I think if it's spun like to be smoother, you get a lot less itch. That's just my opinion. Eileen said there are some small spinning mills in the UK that take smaller batches. Blacker, Halifax, Diamond. Oh, Northern California. Okay. Oh, yes, I saw that. Sharon said Crafty Housewife Yarns is doing something, but that's not really, well, I was going to say last time I saw that, it wasn't quite off the ground yet, but it's been a while, so it could be now. I know, Melanie. Maybe that's the answer. And I have serious, that's one of the things that I've thought about. Like, how can I make that happen? But I don't, it's like I would need warehouse space to do that. And you'd really want like 3 across the country so that you could have, you know, I guess Midwest and East Coast, and then maybe Southern, Mid, and then West Coast. I don't know. Eileen said my Suffolk is super soft but had a lot of guard hairs, strangely. I don't think that is too out of the ordinary. I think that the guard hairs they happen. Jody said I ended up with 11 alpaca fleece from a farm that was ready to toss them. I've been processing slowly but refuse to throw it out on principle. I know. It kills me. It's really hard. Wow. I know, Michelle. You know what? We have the Facebook group for that, though. So if anybody wants to share that info, feel free. I would love it. I bought all those Suffolks because I thought I was going to include that in the Sockstravaganza kits, but then it wasn't done in time. So, I don't know. It bugs me. It makes me feel bad. Especially because that stuff is good. It's just not, it wasn't fashionable for a while. Candy, do you raise Suffolk sheep? I don't think I thought that I realized that you had sheep. Do you? Stephanie said, what is Sextravaganza? I decided, Stephanie, that I want to try to um, find some wools that are suitable for socks spinning without making them superwash. So I'm doing 4 breeds first, and then I might do 4 more breeds after because there still are at least 4 breeds that I'd like to try. It'll probably happen. Mel said, my mother-in-law has a barn full of fleeces that need to be processed. I'm going to go down and help her do some and learn how to do it. Is she processing by hand, Mel? Oh, I see. Candy said my sister-in-law and brother do. Ugh. You guys with your free fleece connections. I don't have any. But I will say that I showed you guys some Finn last year? This year. That I got from a farm, and the person I talked to is named Jim Merrifield, I guess, and a bunch of you have bought those fleeces. They thanked me. They sent me a thank you on Facebook the other day. Melanie said, I'm in Ohio and would work on receiving and shipping. I just don't know what or where to buy. Anyone really interested in starting a co-op should DM me. Whoa. Desiree said, can you sell more breed fiber kits? What do you mean, more breeds than the ones? Yes. If I do 4 more different breeds, I will sell kits of those too, because I feel like I can't. Yes, Stephanie, I am. I feel like I can't test everything the way that you would want it. So that's what makes it good, because if I test it for durability the way that I knit socks and spin socks and wear socks, it's not really going to tell you what you need to know, because you might do things differently. So I figured everybody who wants to this way can try their own methods. So yes, I will. Okay, so Mel says she skirts and washes and dyes and then sends off to be carded. Wow, that's so much. Oh, yeah. You know what, Desiree? I've been thinking about it. I think probably over time there will be more. Stephanie, there's a couple of videos that, going back a little bit, I'm trying to think about when the first one was. Anyway, the first one in the series came out on Friday, so that probably would tell you everything you need to know. So if you go back and look for that video, and I think it says Sextravaganza right in the title. Eileen said, have you all read the book by Clara Parks, The Vanishing Fleece? Highly recommend. I'll look. Venus said, my son sends his alpaca fleece to a mill to be turned into yarn. I had to talk him into 3 yarn weights and begged him to please offer roving, or at least a cloud. It makes awesome roving. What kind of, does he have Wakaya or Surrey? Thanks, Mel. I can always count on Mel. She said the first Extravaganza video was awesome. Chris said, I'm processing. Aren't they so nice? I'm processing some of Jim Merrifield's Finn fleece now. If you want to try cleaning a fleece, these are nice. I think they're quite clean, and so they're not hard to start with, like if you're starting out. Well, Crystal, do you are there apartments near you anywhere? You could go stand on someone's balcony. You could make a TikTok. Chris said they are crazy good. I think so too. I just saw they're posting more of them in the Raw Fleece for Sale group, and I had to restrain myself. I was like, you just literally got a ton of fleece dropped off at your house. Don't buy a fleece, Trish. Yeah. Well, and Sharon, I don't know if Sharon's still here, but I think it was Sharon just messaged me that they got a fin off of Etsy that was a struggle. Bear said, I'm so thrilled with the Sextravaganza experiment you are doing, and the breed study has been wonderful. I like that I can go back and rewatch them too. I'm so glad that they help you. I think this is one of the things that has spurred me to think more about wool that's accessible. That and the supply chain thing has made me think so much about, like, there are sheep here. Why are they so hard to get the fleeces? Oh, Chris, do you have sheep? Crystal said, I was thinking standing on my roof, but Troll would probably shoot me down with rubber bands. Troll probably wouldn't allow you to stay up there for too long. Chris said, what, excuse me, what is a mini mill? Hi, Dino. It's like a mill where they do smaller runs for people, maybe just one fleece at a time, or smaller runs and not like a huge textile mill kind of place. Mary said some of my first fleece I washed, dyed, and spun was an Ile-de-France mixed breed sheep. That was me trying to be Alex Trebek with my accents. I was given 4 of them. They are springy, almost spongy spring. It refuses to felt. Sounds like it could be a down breed. Okay, I'm going to read it, Eileen. I will look for it. It's called The Vanishing Fleece. I agree, Chris. I can't believe people do that. Yes. It would take a space with water and electricity. Yeah. And you really need like a major hot water heater as well. Kim said, I'm not sure a full fleece would be in my budget. I don't have a clue what they go for. If you're watching and you kind of know what you want, you can get really great deals. And there are a lot of people who just want to sell them, like to help cover shearing and stuff like that. Oh, I do. Mandy said if you have Hoopla through your library, the audiobook version is available. My phone's on my charger, but I will definitely look for it. I love Hoopla. Oh my goodness. You guys got to meet up. We're going to have our very first FLD tribe meetup. I won't be there, but still. Mary said I have a pair of worsted weight house socks, wash and dry with my jeans. It's been 5 years, really. Dino asked, what am I knitting? You guys are 12 miles apart? That makes me so happy. You're going to have Fiber Friend 12 miles away. Don't cry. You're going to make me cry. I've been up since 10 to 4 this morning and I'm weepy and sleepy. Don't cry. I'm not going to cry. That's so cool. You should just do it, Danielle. Danielle said, every time I drive past a pasture full of sheep, I'm tempted to go knock on a door and ask about the fleece situation. Bear said, how much loss is typical from a skirted fleece after being scoured. It totally depends on so many things. It depends on the breed. It depends on like kind of how they lived, because if they basically live sort of in hay, they'll have tons more of it that you'll want to pull off. Some breeds are just way more greasy, so there's a lot more weight in the grease. I'm trying to think. There's just so shortcuts make a difference in waste. So there's so many factors. Oh my gosh, Mary, I wish I could get some of that. Oh yeah. So Carrie, interesting that you would bring that up. She said, I went to the Detroit Zoo once and there was fleece lying on the ground in the llama pen or alpaca pen. I think it's llamas. I wanted to climb the fence. Our son, our second oldest, works at the zoo, and he has asked me before, like, is it something that I would spin? And they won't do anything with them because they say they're too not okay, too dirty or too, I can't remember what he said, it was years ago. He works there. He's a zookeeper. We just had dinner with them on Friday. Friday? I don't know. What day is it? I don't know. Yeah, because I would have taken it. And they shear the camels there too. And I was like, yeah, I want that. But I think you only want the down for camels. Does anyone know? I know we have some people who have spun camel before. And I have some camel down in my stash. But can you spin the rest of it, I guess is the question. You know, Michelle said how awesome your son is a zookeeper. He he used to live in Battle Creek, Michigan. You guys probably don't know anything about that, but there's a zoo there. And he's worked there since he was a teenager. He thought he wanted to be a vet. But long story short, he basically learned during school that what he really wanted to do is continue to work in the zoos. So, and he's worked in the Detroit Zoo, I don't know, 8 or 10 years now? Could it really be that long? Whatever. A long time. He's got good stories. I'll tell you. Working in a zoo is really interesting, and the Detroit Zoo has its own special, like, political stuff and everything. Okay, Wendy said, I watched a lady on YouTube spinning camel. She pulled out the guard hairs and spun the rest. So I guess I would have to pull the guard hairs out. Julie said, camel guard hairs are great for making yurts. Want to build a yurt? I bet John would build you one. I've bugged him about, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but we have like 3.7 acres, which isn't ginormous, but it's a good size. And a lot of it's wood out behind us. And so I want really bad one of those glass pyramids that's just like a little outdoor bedroom. So we can go out and sleep in the like glass tent basically and look at the sky and the woods and stuff. Wouldn't that be so cool? But he says no. He doesn't exactly say no, but I can tell in the back of his mind, he's like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about now? And he's not wrong. Garden always said, what are guard hairs? They're like way coarser hairs that are in amongst the downy fibers. But usually they're like really pokey and they stick out. I don't think I have an example of them or I would show you. I can only imagine if I was like, hey, will you build me a yurt? He would be like, this wife of mine. Yes. Right? Wouldn't that be so cool? Okay, Bedouins use it for cords and rope. Okay, dehairing camel is like dehairing cashmere. All right, so Michelle said, so I guess what I got is typical. It's like mega Kemp. Kemp is so strange. Like, I can't believe it grows out of your skin. It's like not like hair. Right. Candy said it's like the difference between a coarse hair on a dog and a soft, fluffy dog, kind of. Or like some dogs, maybe like a Malamute, those kinds. If you can comb out their undercoat, that the guard hairs would be more like the outer coat, so not soft and fluffy. Eileen said the Fleece and Fiber sourcebook says that Ile-de-France sheep were bred by crossing French Merinos with Dishley Leicester. Did I say that right? Soft and bouncy, good insulating properties, but be careful, will felt easy. That's interesting. That's not been Mary's experience. Exactly. Mary said just what I just said. Guard hairs are like most long-haired dogs. They have the coarse, stiff outer hair and soft, fluffy undercoat. Okay, bye, Mel. Can you get paint for my bathrooms, please? She's sitting in Lowe's parking lot. Yes, I want a picture. Bye. Jen said my coworker in Minnesota does the Iditarod and lives in a yurt. It's freaking awesome. I'm trying to get dog hair from him. Wow. Okay, Julie is spinning some right now. I have a bag. Someone gave it to me for a gift, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. Mel, I think that they're talking to each other on Facebook right now, but we'll ask. Deborah said, I thought the wool we got from wool gatherings for the breed study, no, it wasn't. Was all gotten from USA sheep, so we must have quite a few breeds here in the USA. That was definitely not. In fact, some of it, I for sure know where it came from, and it came from England. I think all of it. I can't swear to all of it, but some of it I am absolutely sure. Katie said, I gave my sister money and free license to get paint for my craft room last year. She came back with the brightest like lime green I've ever. That would be my luck. A beer, hi! Is it late there? Oh, darn. How was your trip? How was being home? Was it nice to see your husband? I kind of have like basic colors figured out, Katie, but I, for whatever reason, find it very difficult to commit to a color. Because I think it's because color is so important to me that if you get it wrong and then you have to look at it, I hate that. But one of our bathrooms is gray. And John and my master bathroom is like very dark taupe. And it's too boring for me and too dark. Bye, Simone. Thank you for coming. I only have a few more minutes, so. Oh, Katie said, my dark walnut yarn, I think that's probably shelves, cover most of it and it actually looks good. We'll repaint it in the future, though. We should make a painting deadline, and I'll do my painting and you can do yours. I need something to motivate me because I just don't want to do it. Oh, a beer, I'm sorry. Michelle said, the Dorset horn was the longest staple length I've spun so far. Thank you for getting... See? And it's not hard, is it? Thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone, Merino and BFL rut, and showing me what else is out there. Oh, Chris, you're welcome. Okay, so please, if you guys meet up, Chris, because I'm assuming you guys were talking, please do take us a picture. We would love it. Bye, Stephanie. Come back. I know. I'm sorry, Abir. It's 11:30. I thought it was 8 hours. I wasn't sure. Well, I hope you have the same experience with the rest. I am spinning the Dorset down right now, and I'm really liking it. Oh, Kathy, look at you. Bye. Oh, yeah. Julie, have you taken it? Oh, good. You guys make me feel better about the painting. Oh, don't thank me, Jean, I'm so glad you guys talked and figured it out. But take a picture if you meet. We would love to see it. Yay. That's better. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jennifer, that you're always looking out for that. I find it fascinating. So I'm a peacemaker. I don't know, that's probably not very shocking, but that's my Enneagram. All right, you guys, I'm going to go. I got to start soup. We're having soup tonight. Oh, gosh, you guys are making me feel so much better about my painting. So I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you. I'm sorry that I'm leaving when some of you are showing up. I apologize. But we'll be back next week. And there will be video Tuesday. And then I'm going to work on the next class. Oh, you guys. Paint like the wind. I wish. That Mel, she's always doing things. Yeah, you guys have a great week, but I'll be back on Tuesday with a video at least. I love you. Bye.